I'm talking to you, Pod Save America boys. Like, use your platforms to err on this, to defend a free press.
That's what's really frustrating is how, like, we have this squad, right? We have these like progressive members of Congress that we're supposed to be really excited about being there, and they don't say anything about Julian Assange.
No.
Like, am I like being unfair to say that?
No, that's something that's
accurate.
They will not touch it. They won't go near it. I don't understand why. I know why. Okay, I guess I know why, but like at the same time, I'm also like, I don't get it. Like, we're supposed to have, idea is that you're not corporately funded. You're not in the hands of weapons companies, right? You're backed by your base, by you're basically crowdfunding your ability to be a politician. And you're being crowdfunded by people who care about this issue, and still they will not touch it. So like, it's like it almost makes me feel like you can't actually do anything to change the inner workings of this system. Like, I don't know.
I try not to go there, because then it's like, what else do you do? Because right now, unfortunately, that's the system.
I'm talking more about the Democratic Party. Like, I mean, it's like it's gotten to a point where, okay, we have like 10 people calling themselves the Squad, and this is one of the most important. We're all talking. You're doing a whole live stream because this is the most important issue right now. Like, free Julian Assange. Look at all these important things WikiLeaks has done, and also the precedent it sets and the consequences for journalism and a free press. Yet still, like, why isn't AOC saying anything on this? Like, why isn't Ilhan? And I'm not going to pick on the Squad. I just mean to say, like, why is nobody in a position of power who's not beholden to corporate interests in the military-industrial complex still too frightened to touch this issue?
It's one of the third rails.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because people have done such a good job of, I mean, it's very embarrassing. And you guys should, Rania, and especially you, Rania and Lee, especially you to a less extent, I would say, Ron, through no fault of your own. But just because you're not someone who, has a show on RT and then has been affiliated with, like both of you, Lee and Rania, you both have to have your stuff has like a Russian, Russian media warning on it?
Like Russia state affiliate.
Yeah, I mean, you know that. Like, and I've said this on multiple occasions because I want people.
My Russian minders are under my desk right now. So.
Oh, actually, Lee's
the one in charge.
Most of us are operated by Putin, but Lee is actually, according to someone who made an impassioned video about this during a podcast appearance, a YouTube show appearance. It's like Matt Taibbi, Katie Halpert. No. Shout out to him for saying Katie Halpert, then Matt Taibbi. I really appreciate that. Aaron Mate, Max Blumenthal, Putin, Lee Camp. So it's not that all roads point to Putin. It's all roads point to Lee Camp. But I mean, you guys have experienced this, and I talk about this because I get a visceral feeling when I feel pressure not to have someone on my show, and I ignore it. Like, but I feel it. I want people to know that I feel it, and that everyone. So imagine I'm saying this now, and I'm someone who acknowledges that, and I'll have you on my show, knowing full well that if and when I do, it's like nonstop calling you, a sadist. In fact, I'm surprised they haven't started saying Assangists.
No, but we're too busy
getting them ideas, Katie.
I know. No, we're getting criticized from somebody who thinks that there's this one group that has all proprietary control over all things Julian Assange. And how dare anybody do this without including those people? And these are the people that punch sideways. And I don't personally know why there's somebody on the thread that is basically just shame on you guys for coming on here because we didn't do it through whoever, whatever the organization is.
I don't think because you can, but I would just ignore it because
point is that you're going to get criticized no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, it really was a concerted effort to take a lot of the left and malign them as Russian or Assad or whatever. Jimmy Dore is called an Assadist, and it's utter garbage. But it does seem like it was, somewhat coordinated. I mean, the attacks against me in the New York Times and NPR happened within months of each other. And I think it was designed so that if someone Googles me, the first thing they're going to find is the New York Times piece. And I mean, of course, it's utterly ridiculous, but it serves its purpose to act like any one left of the corporate talking points is. And actually, they did the same thing to Julian Assange. I mean, he hasn't worked with Russia any more than he's worked with other countries. And he's revealed, classified stuff or stuff that these governments did not want out. He's revealed stuff in WikiLeaks about Russia, about Australia, about China, about Britain, and yet it's been set up as Assange works with Russia. He is some sort of agent for Russia, which is utter bullshit, but it serves its purpose so that these garbage neoliberals can point to that and say, oh, well, he's a Russian agent,
Right. Well, we get very limited media here. Like most people here, they turn on CNN and they think they're very well informed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and have you ever talked to some of those people, like people who just, cable news is a heck of a drug and not a good one. And have you ever just had conversations with some of these people who are, against Assange? Have you ever just looked them in the eye and just said, what did he do? Explain to me what he did. What's his crime? And then they'll recite a buzzword as if it's just like, well, Russian agent. Like, no, actually, that's not true. That's not true at all. So try again. What exactly did he do? And
well, it's amazing how often they say he's a dick. And it's like,
yeah, who cares?
Even if that were true, why would that fucking matter?
So this is your typical. This is right, like your typical. This is like a typical thing from the toolbox of painting the target as like a bad person with a bad personality.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Factor.
You just maybe I don't know if Julian Assange is a good personality or bad personality. I don't care. But they did such an excellent job of turning him into this really detestable figure on like personal level that makes people cringe, that Julian Assange ends up basically being prosecuted in the court of public opinion for having a bad personality. And it makes it about that instead of the actual issues at hand, which is an attack on the press and the destruction of like a human being. I mean, this guy is being destroyed. He's mentally, psychologically being destroyed. He, the kind of conditions he's been kept in, for not to mention 7 years in the Ecuadorian embassy. Like, think about how we all went nuts the last year because of the various weeks or months we had to spend not seeing people and how isolating and awful that was. And even if you still have like a significant other or like your immediate family, if you have kids that you can still see, it was still really hard to not see people, to see like a handful of people, and that's it. And then imagine just being alone in the Ecuadorian embassy. Not even a house,
being spied on, having your kids diapers gone through.
And he knew he was being spied on, and everyone thought he was crazy and paranoid, but he turned out to be correct. They were spying on him in the freaking bathroom. Like, they destroyed this guy, like, from the inside out. Like, he still exists, but he'll never exist like he was before. And it's also meant, I think, to be like a message to others. Like, if you challenge U.S. empire in a significant way that actually, causes like, us to look really bad, then we will destroy you. And here's an example.
Leon Panetta actually said it. He said the most we can hope for is this sets an example to others.
How is that not scary to people? Like, what are you guys thinking, journalists? I guess they know that they never do anything as brave as what Assange does, like the powerful ones, the ones who didn't say anything about being spied on.
Because they're so journalists. They're not journalists. Like, people, I'm not saying everyone at CNN or New York Times. There's some really excellent reporters there, but the people who hate Julian Assange, the opinion makers, I'll just use David Brooks as like a generic stand-in, but people like that aren't journalists. They're stenographers for Empire. They're like pro-corporate hacks. They're never, ever, ever going to present a challenge to the powers that be. So they know they have nothing to worry about. They are a part of the powers that be.
Well, and their point is always, oh, well, Assange isn't a journalist. He doesn't count as a journalist. And my point is, well, okay, if, since WikiLeaks has never published anything false in its entire history, then I guess whatever WikiLeaks and Julian Assange is, it is not what they claim to be at CNN or Fox News or whatever, because they can't go 30 seconds without saying something that's half true or mistruth or fake or anonymous sources or whatever. So it's like, Yeah, he is a different thing because he's gotten everything correct.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.